Anyo, General Ricardo Bisaya, Bishop Leopoldo Tumulak, members of the Talumpati Corps, Major Service Commanders, men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, fellow workers in government, my beloved countrymen. Let me just, it's raining and I'll make it short. Let me just give you a narrative of how I do things. Commander, could you give the tikas pahinga?
Tikas! Ha!
Of the many things I promised the people of this nation, one was that I would not tinker with the armed forces of the Philippines in the matter of promotion and assignments. I gave the same statement for the PNP. But you know, as it turned out, after I assumed office, that the PNP was a fractured organization. And that I realized that there were so many men and officers involved in the drug industry. So I had to take the bull by the horn. I did not tinker, I said, as I promised, with the armed forces. The recent promotions and all others were the product of the Board of Generals and the recommendation of your head of the department. I never asked or whispered to anybody who, for what, and for whom. I kept my promise to the armed forces of the Philippines, and it will remain to be so until the end of my term. Di ako makikialam. As I have said, your Board of Generals, na itong sa pulis, I was really appalled. I knew the seriousness of the problem, how the drug industry was blooming into something very, very serious. But I did not have enough wherewithals to make the proper evaluation. And it was only when I became president that I was really horrified, appalled by the number of Filipinos already hit by the contamination of shabu. I remember very well the report of General Santiago of the PIDEA before, and he gave the number something like 92% of the total barangays of the Philippines were already affected. And that he gave the number of 2 to 3 million addicts already papasyal dyan sa atin, mixing it up with us. And I would place it at a very conservative statement as evaluation of something like 1 million to 2.8 to 5. So the incremental increase over the years until I became president, palagay na lang natin, add a level but mga 200. But in my time, when I issued the warning to everybody, you saw our countrymen lining up in front of barangay halls, going to the barangay captains, surrendering in the hundreds of thousands. Kaya ako sabi ko, ako na mismo ang hahawak nito. Kasi kung ibigay mo lang ng secretariat or left alone with due respect, no offense intended, and I have give you the report, and it is the stick, and it has in it something like a mix, a deadly mix of drug lords, pushers on the street, barangay captains, policemen, municipal mayors, governors, judges, and prosecutors. And why? Why did I give a copy of that thick folder to the Senate President. Why did I give that copy or furnish the copy to the Speaker of the House? And I was looking at it, pondering, after a review and a review, re-evaluation, and revalidated and revalidated. That is why it took us this long, because it is not easy to place a name in that list, or you should have destroyed his career forever. So kaya ganun katagal ang review ng review, revalidate, revalidate again, revalidate. And there are names of my friends, politicians and all, mga police, mga prosecutors, mga judges. So, I don't know if if it's proper me to be saying it in public, but I sent also one thick folder to the Supreme Court, and I just wrote it, for whatever it may be worth to you. Hindi ko kaya to. And even sabihin nila, totoo yan, sinasabi na attributable to me all, na pinapatay ko, binabaril ko, lahat na. Kung ginusto ko man, mawalaan ako, maubusan ako ng bala, pati panahon. That's what I told the Speaker and the Senate President and a few members of Congress. What shall I do with this? Just to build a case, you would need about 3 to 4 policemen working out 24 hours just to get the desired proof for a successful operation. But some of them are in the police. Some of them are in the... How do you build a case against the judge? You just go by the records that with so many hearings in his court, there was not a single conviction of a drug case. So that alone is not enough. I would say that I cannot secure a conviction. Remember that we follow the democratic presumption of innocence until proven otherwise. Now, I'd like to tell you, I don't know about the others, but in my experience for 8 years as a trial prosecutor, it's always a proposition of 30% in favor of conviction, 70% in favor of acquittal. Because all that he has to do, the convict or whatever, the accused, will just create a little doubt, and it cannot be proof beyond reasonable doubt. Mahirapan ako, kaya sinasabi ko lang. I ought to take full control of the fight against drugs, because this is not just an ordinary police case. The drug lords declared war against our country, targeting the youths of the land. And that was, I was forced to say, do not destroy the next generation and deprive us of our sons and daughters' happiness. Kasi papatayin ko talaga kayo. And I said, wag ninyong gawain yan. Kasi bayan ko yan. Actually, the drugs is a war now going on. Thus, wither down a lot. But until the last day of my term, until the last pusher is out of the street, until the drug lord, the big ones, are killed, the policy will remain. Do not destroy my country. And that is why I repeat my orders. And that's the reason why I declared a state of lawlessness, so that I can call upon you, the armed forces, to help the civilian sector, to help the police. Di nila kaya to. At ang police mo, the policeman, the very ones who would be preventing the crimes, solving the crimes, arresting the criminals, are themselves into it. Nandyan may kopya kayo. I think I was furnished to the Chief of Staff. Basahin ninyo if you have time. And find out if the next guy beside you is there in that list. Talagang it's about 4,500 plus. Remember that they are spread all throughout the country. And addiction is really a monkey on your back. And they say, and it is true, the forensics say, and the doctors and the asylums and the drug rehabilitations would tell you that there's a certain point of the use of constant use of drugs will shrink the brain of a person. Once the brain has shrunk, rehab is no longer possible. So how many of the 4 millions? Kasi yung 1 million di ko binigay, wala akong input sa panahon ko. Those were the guys you saw on TV surrendering. I'm still counting because I'm nearing the 800 mark. By the end of the year, I am sure I would have breached 1 million. Idagdag ko yan sa kay Santiago. And you know that I entered into the service almost mid-term. Half of the year, June. I am operating on a budget that was prepared by my predecessor. When I came in, what was left was just for MOOE, maintenance and operations. So even if there was a lot of criticism at binubulshit ako, at bakit ko raw hindi i-rehab, yung nahuli lahat yon, hindi magkasya yon. So in the meantime, I was just pleading to the barangay captains to just take care of them in the meantime. Now, a good soul from China, a philanthropist, built us in Fort Magsaysay a 10 million facility, a 10,000 rather facility. And they promised to build another one somewhere in the Visayas and Mindanao. But sabi ko, hindi na ako pumilit kasi nahiya na ako. But the next budget, my budget that I prepared now, was something for this kind of, at lahat. At kayo, lahat ng hiningi ni Secretary Lorenzana, binigay ko. Lahat, wala akong hinindian. And I would not want to, baka ayaw ko yung parang makakaroon ka pa ng utang ng loob, pera naman ng tao yan. But lahat na kailangan ninyo, pati ospital ninyo. And as a matter of fact, I abandoned the use of the presidential plane. Turn it over, and you can use it. You have a new MRI, a CT scan, and everything, a barrack, which can really control gangrene. If you are extracted too late, maybe if you are flown to the AFP, I'm supposed that the barrack machine is with that. It can catch up with the contamination of the gangrene. Nandyan lahat binigay ko na sa inyo. Wala akong hinindian, pati armas. The ones that we ordered were stopped by the complaint of a congressman or senator in the U.S. which say that our issues against human. No. Bihin ko sa inyo. Go out and hunt for them. Look for them kasi pati ang droga. Masisira ang bayan natin kung tamad-tamaran tayo. Ang mga bata hindi na makalabas. Sa Maynila, hold up dito, hold up doon. At hilain lang kung magsakay ng tricycle dyan in an old garage or there's a facility that's not being used. Doon din nadala mga babaeng umuwi sa gabi, pinapatay mga nurse. This cannot be the kind of life for us. And why should we be afraid to destroy the forces that would make us grow in fear. Bakit matakot tayo? Human rights. You know, you want me, bring me to fine International Criminal Court? Gladly. Gladly. And if they say that I'd go to jail, I'll rot in jail. Wala kayong problema. Itong droga na ito, if it is done that you kill the person because your life is in jeopardy, you yourself would lose not only your funds but your life. My God, shoot him. Ayoko. Philippine National Police killed in police action. Prison, 30. Wounded, 57. This is a joke. It's just a matter of reading wounded or patay. Wala nang pamilya. Kaya ako ang naging police doon sa pamilya nila. At sabi ko, yung wounded, you will be rehabilitated. I do not worry about that. Out of the 57 wounded policemen, 48. This is a health issue. It is now becoming an issue of law and order and a health issue. They need, just like the drug addicts destroyed. They need medications, they need therapy and all. Armed forces killed in action, 53. Tapos, wounded in action is 228. Do you think this is a joke? By us, the critics, why would we do extrajudicial killing? Wrap the idiot with plastic. What for? We could shoot him in the head, and that's it. This is an indication of torture. Hindi na kailangan yan. I'm addressing myself to the nation. Now, kung mga police dito na masabit, so they got mixed up with the messy job. And I would say that I would believe in the story of the police. Now, here comes an NBI. Both the police and the NBI are under me. DILG and... but I never interfered. And they say it's murder. Fine. That is your findings. But since the police is also doing the duty, following my order here, a direct order, I will have to defend them. And sabihin nila well, I will listen to the story and I will take it as the true version. Why should I? It's just an investigation. Wala naman kayong witness dyan na nagsabi na nakita niya. Come up with something good and maybe I will have it out. But for as long as ganon ang police, and they would stick to the story, and because they are under me, I should believe them. Why? Let me ask you, Filipino people. 4 million addicts of the Filipino, and you are sorry for the son of a bitch who made our children crazy by the millions. So, I and I alone, ako yan, will answer for them. And if it is in the performance of duty, that is my ultimate liability. Dito kayo. I will defend them. As a matter of fact, I'm ready to go to jail for them. Walang problema. But I will not agree to a proposal, just leave it this way, tapos masira. Remember, it's by the millions. And if I would like to remind you, in the early days, you saw on TV, because I was also viewing it, people lining almost like a zombie state. Parang kalog. Kung presidente ka, maligayahan ka niyan. Tapos, dito wala na masyado. Makauwi na sila ngayon. Now, I would like to warn again the addicts. Pabalik-balik kayo niyan eh. You pretend to surrender or give it up. But it's addiction, I know. I have a rehab. 8 out of 10 talagang mag-slide yan. Pabalik ng babalik yan. So kayong mga nasa droga, nakadroga, o yung mga pamilya ninyo, ito na lang ko ninyo. Huwag ninyong palabasin ng bahay in the meantime, or have your son or husband check. And we will gladly bring you to the Nueva Ecija. Bakante pa yun, marami pa. I will spend for the medicines and all. But in the meantime, kayong mga drogista, bantay. Dadamputin ko talaga. Do not loiter around the sidewalk. You're up to ask for money and molest it. Hindi, hingian ninyo mga tao, ludapin ninyo. Do not do that. Restricted to quarters kayo. Parang sundalo. Diyan kayo sa bahay ninyo. Mga nanay, tatay, ilak ninyo yung... Huwag ninyong palabasin. Pag maglabas yan, mag-iistorbo sa labasan. Pag magtidigtang yan, damputin ko yan. Sabi na diktador, you want to oust me? Fine, go ahead. I'd be happy to leave. Pero for as long as the president of this country, I will never allow that thing to destroy. So let us be clear on this. I'd like to congratulate Joel Anyo on his assumption as the Chief of Staff. I'd like to express the gratitude for on behalf of the Filipino people kay General Vizcaya for a job really very well done. And I was also malapit ako matumba sa medal niya. Ako nga wala nga ni Beski isa. Ito lang itong ganito pagdating. Hindi man ito medal niya. Wala man nakasabi dito na General Headquarters. Wala man. But anyway, pati kayo. Hero, kayo lahat. Every time you go out. That is why do not worry, this December, medyo halos doble na ang sweldo ninyo. Sinasadya ko yan talaga yan. Kayo yung nauuna eh. Sige, punta doon sa Abu Sayyaf, dumugin mo. Ay, ako, tiga-order lang eh. Kaya kung tumahimik kayo dyan, walang allowance sa iyong Pasko ito. Unahin mo natin yung... Anyway, even the mere presence... evidenced by this medal, I am grateful to be present to witness the turnover. General Anyo, welcome. Sir, General Vizcaya, mamili ka na ng pwesto dyan, sir. Choose your position. That is how grateful the nation is to you. Mamili ka ng position dyan. Gusto mo kausapin si Delpen? Bahato, okay rin yan. Salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Rodrigo Duterte.